This is the Weigh In Podcast by Ben Chestnut and the occasional pop in Sebastian Romero. On this week's Weigh In, we talk to you about UFC 326 and Devin Haney Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney Rolly Romero, both of which are in talks and both of which might happen. So we're going to break that down and shake that around because that's something pretty interesting to hear. But nonetheless, that is this week's weigh-in. So if we jump right into this one, and I only say jump because this is one of those things where you wanna you wanna get into this really calmly and get on to the nit and gritty, as I like to say here. And first and foremost, UFC 326. Let's get to it. So if we really bring up the UFC 326, let's try to get just that UFC 326. So we break it down. Our breakdown is going to start with the early prelims. So let's get it off with the early prelims. The early prelims is something we're going to get started on. So let's get started there on those early prelims. So first and foremost, we have quite a few bouts here. We have Luke Fernandez versus Rafael Bellatio, a light heavyweight bout. We have Jung Gang Lee versus Gaston Bolos. You have Rafael Tobias versus Dayar Nangazehai. And you have flyweight bout against Samarjayi, Some Dayarji versus Jesus Aguilar. So all of which are, nice bouts. But they're early prelims, so let's start to see who's undefeated, who's not. So if we start at the bottom here, this list. We got 12-3. Uh, Bellateo, Bellateo, and we got a 1-0 Luke Fernandez. This is what I think. I think anybody who's 1-0, you're still new to the UFC. You're still beatable in a sense. In my case, in my terms, because you're so new to the UFC, you just kind of really just got there. So I should expect that I don't. I should expect that these probably won't be going the distance. Some of these, from Lee and Bolans or Lee versus Gaston. Gaston's 8-5, and Lee's 11-3. So I'm kind of looking at the records. If we make prediction based off record, I think it'd be Lee. Lee only has 3 losses, where Gaston's kind of been getting beat, but we'll see what happens. Now, if we talk about Tobias versus Dayar of Kazakhstan. Tobias is 1-0, Dayar's 10-2. I kind of feel like with the experience of Dayar, I think he could. This is the difference. His last fight was a loss, though, but I think I'm going, the Kazakhstan here because he's 10-2. That's a lot of experience to come up against somebody who's fresh off their debut. Rafael Tobias last fight was his debut, so you haven't been in enough. But I'm not saying nothing can't happen here. I'm just kind of. Then we got this last one, this flyweight bout, Jesse Aguilar and some Narer. Both had last fights of a win. I got some that's at 18-7, and I got Jesus. I got Aguilar at 12-3. Um, so the difference here is both of last fights were a win. Um, I got some with the height with the height and reach. So that's possible to make a difference. But I'll go some on this one, but I'm not I'm not confident in any of my answers, you know what I mean? So now we talk prelims. Not that many of them, but we talk prelims. We got Cody Durandin, Durandin, Durandin. Um, from Mongol, we got Nyaman, Chagargao, or Tremendi and Ganamar, Jangagal, and Tremendi Mendurel. Names are getting me today. This flyweight bout, and when we take a look at the stats here, see what those stats got to say. Well, the Mongolian is 9-1, while Cody Duran is 17-9. Both have come off their last fight were losses. The reach is more to the Mongolian. So I don't know. I don't know. I think by just looks of these stats and stuff like that, I want to say the Mongolian might be able to get the Vic here. After that, we have a featherweight bout with Ricky Turcos and Alberto Montez. Alberto Montez is the Venezuelan who was 1-0. Ricky's last fight was a loss. Doesn't look like there's anything really here for the Venezuelan, or it hasn't really loaded yet. The reach goes to Ricky. Not by a lot, but the reach goes to Ricky. I think it's possible Ricky could probably take this one. Although he has 5 losses, I think it's possible. Then after that, we got a middleweight bout against Dante Johnson and Cody Brundage. Uh, Dante Johnson is 7-0, while Cody Brundage is 11-8-1. Brundage got to win his last fight, Johnson got to win his last fight, while Brundage got a loss. Although Brundage is gonna have the reach here. Oh no 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 no! The reach is gonna go to Johnson here. Reach is gonna go to Johnson, not by a lot though. So I really would like to say that Dante Johnson, 7-0 could take this. So that's something that I think could happen. Now this is my favorite here. People don't understand. See him on a prelim is interesting. Cody Garbrandt is going to be on this card. I was a big Garbrandt fan when he was out and up there, and career has gone the way he has gone some different ways for old Cody. So we're gonna go ahead and he's facing Long, Isaiah Long. So we're gonna see what the stats bring up here on this Garbrandt Long. I think Cody Garbrandt had an interesting MMA career, from being able to do some of the things that he has done. see if we can figure something out here. Cody Garbrandt is 14-7, 11 wins by knockout, 8 first-round finishes. Cody Garbrandt has had what I like to call is an interesting MMA career. The fact that he's still around in it is fairly interesting. Very interesting. So that's going to be interesting to see, what comes of Garbrandt. So, like I said, Garbrandt's record is a 14-7. Long, his record is 27-10, and both of them are coming off a loss for their last fight. The reach goes to Long, and by a lot. By a lot. It looks like it's a whole 5 inches there. But I'll get you that. A whole 4.5 inches. Cody Garbrandt on another bout. He's changed so much. Then we get to this main card, which if you just really don't know, the main event is Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, which I'm like, whoo. So that's something, getting around there. We got Bruno Ferreira versus Gregory Rodriguez. Ooh. We got some good going on here. Gregory versus Bruno. We got Drew Doppler versus Michael Johnson. We got Rob Font versus Raul Rosa Jr. Raul Rosa Jr. He's very new to this UFC. He's 11-1. But I definitely think he's somebody they call him El Nino Problema. Wow. But I think Raul Rosa Jr. I've seen him fight a couple times. He's really good. Really good. But we'll get back to this Bruno and Gregory Rodriguez. So Rodriguez is 18-6, while Ferreira is 15-2. Bruno, both coming off their last fights as a win. And the reach goes to Rodriguez. And it looks like by a lot here. It looks like by a lot. No, not too much. Only a whole 3 inches, but whether that'll make a difference is up for discussion. So I thought it was a lot. I was looking at something and thought it was a lot. But I definitely think in terms of it, I know you guys always say I always end up going with the guy that's got less losses. Most cases. But I do think that given the height difference, I think it may possibly be Gregory that wins this fight. It may possibly be Gregory. So we got Drew Doppler and Michael Johnson. It's crazy to see guys like this is a whole separate conversation. It's crazy to see guys that used to be main event guys they are now like prelim guys, like Cody Garbrandt. it tells you how much the UFC is a numbers business. And I mean that as far as if you got a lot of fans and you can sell tickets, you'll always be a main event. The time you're not making that money like a main event, got to give Dana White some credit. He knows the business very well. You got to give him credit where it's due, and I think there's some credit. There's some credit due there that he knows when guys are not making the money they used to anymore. All right, so this Drew Dauber. Drew Dauber is 28-15, while Michael Johnson is 25-19. The reach is 3.5 inches to Michael Johnson. But here's my thing. I'm going Johnson. I seen him fight some a couple times, and I think Johnson gonna win that. I really do. I think Johnson's gonna win that. Now, this Rob Font and Raul Rosa Jr., I'm just gonna tell you right off the bat, I got Raul Rosa Jr. You know? I think Raul's got it. Raul's got it, and I really do believe Raul is gonna make a lot of noise in this UFC. But don't get me wrong, there's some of them that do make that noise, and there's some of them that don't. But either way, I think Raul gonna make that noise. I think Raul's gonna make that noise because you look at Raul's record right now, and he's already 11-1. Even though he's got one loss, still 11-1. We all know some of the UFC greats like Conor McGregor had losses, so it really tells you that it doesn't really matter on the side of those losses, but it does tell you though that this is gonna get real interesting. But I definitely think it's gonna be Raul Rosa Jr., the El Nino Problema, that's gonna win the fight. Because he's doing a great thing. He's getting the right attention. I feel, you know, midst of what anybody else may think, he's getting the right attention, and I think that's a good look for him. And it's a good look for the UFC. When anybody comes in talking like Raul, I always call it the McGregor, and I'm gonna tell you why I call it the McGregor because Connor, the way Connor talked is what brought him up. That nobody liked him, but it brought him up the right way. He had a fan base that was willing to show up. So when we talk about this Rob Font and Raul Rosa Jr., so Rob Font is 22-9, while Raul is 11-1. Rob's last fight he lost. Raul won his last fight. So if we look at this reach here, it's Rob with the reach because Rob's got a 71.5-inch reach, and you got Raul with a 67-inch reach. But I'm still in this fight going Raul, and that's a 4.5-inch difference. But I'm still going Raul. No matter what, I'm still going Raul because Raul's got the height, but it's only by like an inch. Like it's not by a lot. Rob's 5'8", while Raul's 5'9", so it's not a lot. But I see that 11-1, and I think maybe he's been humbled enough to know not another loss. So I still think that's gonna be Raul with that fight. We have Caio against Renier D. Ryder. So I got Kyle Brillahalo at 17-2. I got Rainier D. Ryder at 21-3. Both came off a loss for their last fight. The reaches aren't off by that much. Rainier D. Ryder's got a 78-inch, while his opponent has a 75. We're talking a 3-inch difference, not a lot there. So it's it. Now, what everybody's wanted to know at the UFC 326, man, we want to know about this main event. Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. This is interesting. I'm going to tell you why. Nonetheless, to say, okay, that they have a BMF belt. What BMF is we won't get into all of that. But Max Holloway at 27-8, and you have Charles Oliveira at 36-11. Real interesting. Max Holloway is 5'11", while Charles Oliveira is 5'10". You got a 74-inch reach for Charles Oliveira, while Max Holloway is a 79-inch reach. So we're talking. I mean, did I say 79? I meant 69. I'm sorry, 69. We're talking about a 5-inch difference there. That's significant enough in my book. But that's significant enough. Both came off wins for their last fight, but this is going to be interesting. I like this matchup. I like it a lot. I like it very well. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's a good thing going on here. So that's just the UFC around the world, as I like to call it. So let's talk this Devin Haney. Let's talk the Devin Haney. So first and foremost, I know there's a lot circulating on the Devin Haney, Rolly Romero. I like Rolly Romero in terms of he fought a really good fight against Ryan Garcia. We all know that. But do I think he's the guy to beat Devin Haney? I really don't. Now, he can obviously surprise us, but we know how it goes with the Devin Haney camp. It's not easy to beat him, and it's going to be really, really hard. But they're also talking about if he gets in there against Ryan Garcia, it could be. They talked about it as a unification bout, and I'm like, that's fairly interesting. And I wanted to just go ahead and get you some info on that. So let's go ahead and hit up our ESPN as always. Let's figure out who's what. I got it. I'm gonna get it for you. Give me a second. So this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is why even Rolly Romero would be a. Let's talk about the clashing at this welterweight, bro. Let's talk about this clashing at the welterweight for right now. Let's talk about it. Really, I got you. WBC, Ryan Garcia. WBA, Rolly Romero. IBF, Lewis Croker. WBO, Devin Haney. Okay, so we talked about this, the clashing that's going to happen here. We always talked about it when we talked about, a long time ago, that 135. Let's talk about this now. The clashing that could happen at this 147 is big because if Devin Haney has a potential path here to undisputed. Hear me out now. They're saying he's trying to schedule Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia. If he schedules Rolly Romero and it's a unification bout. Let's say he beats Rolly Romero. Let's say, fair and square, no controversial. He beats him. He would be the WBO and the WBA champion. Then, if you line up Ryan Garcia, now there's a potential chance for Devin Haney to snatch two belts. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to snatch the WBC as easy as I think he can get the WBA. And the last would be the IBF. I think we may get somebody undisputed here at 147 they could get this WBA, this Rolly Romero fight plus line up Garcia. Because remember, everybody's going to be wanting mandatory defenses, but if they're all fighting for each other's belts, it could be interesting. So let's see. Let's see what we can get you as far as that 147. So the 147 WBA champ is Rolly Romero. And you got some good names up here on the list of the ranking. So you got Sharam on here as the number one. You got Raul Guerrero as the number two. Jimenez Stennis as the three. The number four is Connor Ben. There's some good names up here. Not too bad. But that is the WBA ranking. Let's go take a look at the WBC. Let's see if we can see what this WBC look like. So when we look at this, here we go. WBC world champ we know is Ryan Garcia. When we look at this ranking, we got Connor Ben, the number one. We got Sayo Sai So You May Maine. So You Maine as the number two. You got Raul as the number three. You got Jack Contreras as the number four. You got Brian Norman Jr. as the number five. And obviously the number six is Mario Barrios. But this is interesting. Man, the number seven is Manny Pacquiao. On this rating. And then you got Teofimo Lopez, the number eight. And you got Arnold Barbosa Jr. up here too. I don't know. I think it's looking very good when you think about it. But that's the WBC. Now all we left to get you is that WBO. Let's see what we can get you. See, we could. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. Y'all, I'm looking for it, y'all. I got you right now. Let me see that W. I got you. I'm looking. Because I know we in the end of this epi, y'all. We in the end of this epi, y'all. And I'm looking for y'all. Okay, so here we go. We was at WBO. Is that Devin Haney? Jack Contreras is the number one. Number two is Manny Pacquiao. Number three is Teofimo Lopez. Number four is Karen Kachastan. Number five is Brian Norman Jr. So that's interesting. And then the other one we're gonna do this IBF. IBF, they don't look like there's anybody here at number one, but number two is Liam Pereira. Number three is Patty Donovan. Number four is Ricardo Sales Rodriguez. Salsa Rodriguez. Karen Chuckistan is up here. Raul Connor Benz is the number. Raul's the number six. Connor Ben is the number seven. Jack Contreras is number eight. Number nine is Brian Norman Jr. So that's that. That's that 147. That's really all I got for you. Is we're in the end of this epi. I think it's going to be interesting to see the way that clashing goes because either way, it's a unification bout. If it's Rolly, it's a unification bout. If it's King Rye. And I really think I would like to see both happen. Go ahead, line up Rolly, snatch that. Go ahead, face King Rye and get beat. So then Ryan Garcia can take two belts and be one away from being undisputed. Because I really think I'd like to see Ryan Garcia be undisputed. I really would. I think he's a great fighter. He's a great boxer. Amidst the way everything has gone for him, I think I would like to see him undisputed. I would like to see him get back to that, the best versions of himself. And I think it's a good thing. I think that, I really do. I like the Garcia we saw last fight. I think this is going to be really good. So, that's just my opinion. And that's all I got for you on this one because we're into the end of that epi. So with that being said, please like, comment, subscribe, share. I said it this time. Everybody, when I don't say that, reminds me like crazy. Like literally will remind me. They're hitting up. They're like, oh, what happened? Like, comment, subscribe, share. I know. So like, comment, subscribe, share. This is The Weigh In by Benoit Chestnut and the occasional pop in Sebastian Romero. And this is all I got for you. Same thing I always say, continue the streak. Weigh In, out.
The Weigh In, where stories